Morning to everyone. Yes, that's true. We still exist in Ukraine. I'm in a position. Thanks God. First of all, I would like to praise Victor. Victor, you are doing a tremendous job, and I believe that you are the best vehicle how to make Ukraine closer to the European Union. The panel says two things, the wider Europe and democracy. Let me elaborate on both of these issues. What the wider Europe means? Is it the wider European Union, or just big Russia, or huge China? I believe that we are to elaborate on these particular issues. The wider Europe is not just the territory from Lisbon to Vladivostok. The wider Europe could be the Europe which is based on common values and on common principles. What values we share? We as the state of Ukraine, we as Ukrainians. Civil rights, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, political competitiveness, and freedom for life. We won't survive, we have to live. And the democracy is crafted for the ordinary people, to provide the living standards to these people, to provide them the freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, to provide them a dignity and justice. I believe that we are to create an action plan how to make this wider Europe. We have tremendous challenges in the European Union and tremendous challenges in Russia and huge challenges in Ukraine. Look, we need something like a joint action plan in politics, in security and defense, in energy, and in economy. I would probably start with the economy. Because, look, I don't trust in a robust economy with a failed democracy. I don't trust in it. So we need to build up our economy, and in order to have a robust economy in this so-called wider Europe, I kindly ask all EU member countries and the entire globe to make Russia WTO member. And I will tell you why. We have huge trade disputes with our Russian partners, starting with the customs union and ending with the energy issue. We want to have free and fair rules in trade. And if Russia is to join WTO, we can have a real debate and real talks with our Russian partners, not a political one, but economic one, based on clear-cut rules. The same goes with the energy. And we ask our European partners, I would even say not to isolate Ukraine in terms of energy. That's our common problem. And I would reiterate again, that's our common problem to transit the gas to the European Union, to provide the free and fair rules in the energy sector, to make Ukraine an integral part of the common energy sector of the European Union. The third issue, on the security and defense. Let's be frank. Last year, Russia was quite successful in terms of stopping the enlargement of NATO, when Ukraine declared a vague non-bloc status. I have doubts about a new security model in Europe, but I strongly believe that NATO is the only effective mechanism to provide stability in the world. Yes, NATO is to be overhauled. Yes, NATO is to increase and to improve its decision-making mechanism, but nevertheless, this is the only vehicle that can guarantee not just military security, but this is the vehicle which is based on values too. So we believe that we are to restart discussions on the real security model in Europe and in this so-called wider Europe. Going back to some Ukrainian issues. A rhetoric question, whether Ukraine is a democratic state. Telling you frankly, not yet. We need to build up democracy. We need to build the democratic institutions, a strong democratic institutions. We need a political maturity in my country. It's unacceptable when the Constitutional Court can easily overrule the Constitution, just bypassing the nation, because it's up to the demand to the current government. It's unacceptable when the government is scared of its people. It's unacceptable when in Ukraine, which is in the center of Europe, there is a crackdown on the freedom of assembly, on the freedom of speech, and on the political competitiveness. It's unacceptable to persecute political opponents with a penalty code. The reform for Ukraine is needed, and I believe that we are to start with the constitutional reform. We need to restore the balance of powers in my country. The concentration of power could easily shift to the abuse of power, which actually we see today. We need to wage the war with corruption, a real war with corruption, because this is the key issue. And I would go back again, that there is no way to have a robust economy, there is no way to get real democracy in a corrupted society and in a corrupted government. We need to have free and fair elections. And this is the most important issue and challenging issues. Ukraine is to face parliamentary elections in a year. We ask our European partners and we ask our Western friends to support Ukraine to have these free and fair elections. We need observers. We need the law, which is not shaped to the current government and to the ruling party, which is shaped to the state of Ukraine and to the Ukrainian people. We need the guarantees of the civil rights of Ukrainians. And this is the job of the government, to guarantee the civil rights. This is the job of the government, to make everything in order to make the life of ordinary Ukrainians better. Last but not least, DCFTA. We urge the Ukrainian government and we ask our European partners to sign DCFTA. This is the real leverage and this is the real tool to make Ukraine really democratic, to implement reforms in my country. DCFTA is not for the European Union. Look, our European partners have an unlimited access to the Ukrainian market. It's for the Ukraine. It's for the Ukrainian political and economic reforms. Nevertheless, I believe that we need a certain stipulation before the ratification procedure, to a stipulation related to the legal reform, to make the courts in my country independent, to stop political persecution, and this is the best way to make Ukraine really democratic, to preserve the civil rights, and to move closer to our European partners. Thank you.